Again, Brian Reese, the VA Claims Insider, the most trusted name in education-based resources for veterans. And what are we talking about today? Best ways to get a 100% VA disability rating. I am not an accredited agent. I'm not a VSO. I'm not an attorney. We are not an entity associated with or affiliated with the Department of Veterans Affairs in any way, shape, or form. Obtain a buddy letter from a first-hand witness. A buddy letter is nothing more than a competent, incredible statement from a first-hand witness. Could be somebody you served with overseas, could be somebody you were at a training event with here at home station, could be a spouse, could be a child, adult child over 18, right? Could be your pastor, could be a coworker, could be a boss, okay? Anybody who can shed some light on what's going on in your life regarding that condition, right? And by the way, if you Google VA buddy letter example, guess who shows up? You're going to see my ugly mug again there, but I actually share a real example of a VA buddy letter for mental health. So you can get an idea of how you go about having a spouse write a statement about what's going on and how severe your mental health symptoms are and how they're limiting or affecting your life and how they've hurt your relationship and caused sexual dysfunction and caused work issues, okay? So important, okay? Buddy letters are referred to and called lay evidence under the law. Lay evidence simply means after the fact evidence. Okay, it needs to be competent, it needs to be credible. Okay, why do I say first-hand witness? Well, third-hand hearsay ain't gonna be very credible, right? If you get a buddy letter from somebody who wasn't there or somebody who heard about the incident, right, that's not going to be very credible. So the weight of that evidence is not going to hold very much weight in front of the VA rater's eyes, okay? So that's why we talk about firsthand witnesses. Buddy letters are especially important if you're lacking medical evidence at all, if your service treatments records are silent, or if you've never reported something, right? Maybe it's an MST situation, military sexual assault, military sexual harassment, military sexual trauma, right? Well, a lot of times that stuff is never reported, right? Fear of reprisal, all kinds of stuff, right? And so, those incidents go undocumented. And the VA denies the claim, says there's no evidence. Of course there isn't any freaking evidence because you didn't report it. Get a buddy letter, right? You write a personal statement too, but get a buddy letter. The number one most important day in the entire process, bar none, end all be all, the compensation and pension exam. If you get one, go. Okay, that's our advice. And you better be prepared. You better be prepared. It's the number one most important day in the entire process. Why do I say that? Again, we always tell you real truth, guys. We tell you ground truth about what's going on. Very rarely, if ever, do I see a VA rater side with evidence that is contrary to the evidence provided by the C&P examiner. Now, I think it's total freaking garbage. I think that entire system needs to be gutted and overhauled, okay, which we're working on. But the sad reality is these compensation pension examiners, many of them are freaking garbage, right? They are conducting illegal, immoral, and unethical exams. They are denying veterans benefits that they deserve by law. Sometimes they just don't even know. They don't even understand what they're doing, what they're completing. Okay, that's a sad reality. They don't conduct an adequate exam. They don't use a goniometer. They don't ask about pain. They're contentious. They don't like you. They don't like veterans. They don't like the disability system. They think you're lying. They think you're stretching, whatever the situation is, right? Which is just ugly. It's ugly. But it happens. Okay, but the bottom line is you got to be prepared to win. Now, what does that mean? That means you need to go in there and tell your true story cold. You need to tell all, do not hold anything back, okay? So, you may get something back that, well, the C&P examiner said that it was less likely, right? Which means there's a less than 50% chance that it was due to your service or due to another disability. They maybe checked it by accident. They maybe didn't even know what it means. They maybe are not actually trained to conduct a C&P exam for that condition, right? Maybe it required a specialist. So, man, we see so many garbage C&P examiners, but I don't want to scare you, because there's some great ones out there too, who care deeply about veterans, who actually do take the time to read your records prior to the exam. Okay, so they know what's in your medical records. They do understand nexus statements, but most of them don't. Okay, so you got to be prepared. You need to go through all your evidence. Okay, go through your service treatment records. Go through an updated copy of your VA records, right? Go on to My Healthy Vet, log in, go to Blue Button, right? Pull a Blue Button report and download a PDF of your current records and go through it. Take a look at what it says, right? Because you need to know. If you're getting private treatment from an outside provider, make sure you get copies of those records, okay? Because you need to know what's in them. Go through any buddy letters, go through any statements you wrote, go through the law, go through CFR 38, right? Part 4, Schedule for Rating Disabilities. That's the law that governs all disabilities. It governs the name, it governs the symptoms required, talks about range of motion, talks about pain, mental health conditions are defined, the symptoms are listed. Go through that so you know when you show up to your compensation and pension exam, you're ready, man, you're ready. Okay, and you're ready to punch back if you happen to get a terrible C&P exam. Total disability, individual unemployability. Okay, I'm going to say that again. VA TDIU stands for total disability, individual unemployability. Okay, now it's most commonly just called IU, individual unemployability. Okay, and what that means is maybe you don't actually qualify for the 100% scheduler rating, okay, but you're still eligible to be paid at the 100% rate if one or more service-connected disabilities prevent you from maintaining substantially gainful employment. Okay, and I'm going to run through this requirement real quick because it seems confusing, but it's really not. Okay, do you qualify for VA TDIU? 2 main requirements, and then I'm going to go to the one-off. Okay, number 1, okay, and you have to have both of these. This is an and, not an or. Okay, it's an and statement, not an or. You must already have one or more service-connected disabilities that's rated at 60% or higher, okay? Or you have 2 or more service-connected disabilities with one rated at 40% or higher and a combined rating of 70% or more. And, don't forget about the and. You can't hold down a steady job that supports your family financially. Okay, it's defined as substantially gainful employment. Okay, odd jobs, things like marginal employment, don't count. Okay, substantially gainful employment. Okay, now what you might want to do is you can Google VA TDIU requirements, right? Go read exactly what it says from va.gov. Right, we've also got a post out there. Now, did you also know that you can still qualify for TDIU even if you don't meet those 2? Right, now you're kind of scratching your head going, what? I thought you just said you had to meet those. You do. However, there are certain situations, maybe you have to be hospitalized, okay, where you qualify for the 100% rating even though you don't meet the quote-unquote VA TDIU requirements. Let me give you an example, okay? We had a Vietnam veteran who had a 10% disabling condition for heart disease. Now, it should have been rated at 100%, but it wasn't. That's a whole nother story. But the guy had been in and out of the hospital for a long time and had major, major issues going on, okay? He could not hold substantially gainful employment because of the severity of his heart condition, okay? So what he did is he filed for TDIU. And he showed hospital reports. He showed how much treatment and therapy he's been in over time, had all kinds of issues, lab reports, major issues, okay? He was approved. He was approved for TDIU, okay? So it is possible. Best ways to get 100% VA disability if you qualify. Okay, again, you guys need some help. You're trying to get to 100. You believe you deserve it by law. It's legal, moral, ethical. You can get started for free today at VA Claims Insider Elite.com.